Okay, so it is day 2. It is about 8:30, exactly 8:30. And if you're wondering why my voice sounds so weird, that's how I sound at 8:30 in the morning. But we're going to start work on, I think, some characters. I really want to get some characters done, but I also want to get those building tools for the world. So I'm going to pop open Blender and Houdini again, and let's just see where I get over the next hour or so. I've got my coffee in the flowery mug, and yeah, all right, see you. Let's So first I looked up images of ravens, and this is the character I'm making. And so we're going to put all of those into a program called PureRef, which is really, really good for this sort of thing. And I just want to get as many as I can, different angles and stuff. And then I started off just modeling out the shapes, starting off with spheres. I'm trying a little bit of a different strategy than I normally do. I'm trying to get better at sculpting. And so I just keep bringing in more and more shapes and see, like, what looks right. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. This is not going to be an exactly realistic game. It's really focusing on getting the shapes right, because this character is going to be a more prominent character in the visuals. So I'm going to try to make it look as bird-like as possible. It's really just iterating over and over, and it really drug on longer than I would expect it to. The actual player character, which is coming up, was a lot faster. This is a much slower process than using something like Houdini, and that's why I really like to utilize Houdini as much as I can for the jam. This is a Houdini jam, but there are just certain things that you have to grab your sculpting tools for. And so then I started bringing up the legs, making those look like legs. And yeah, look at them legs. Those are some good legs. Next, I started retopologizing the mesh, making it look as good as possible while maintaining a small vertex count, because it is going to be a game asset, not a sculpture. Had to do a little bit more retopology. I was having some struggles getting it to look just right, and this took a little bit longer than I expected. Then I was able to get on to rigging and getting all the bones in place. I use a plugin that really helps speed up the workflow for rigging characters. Trying to do it by hand with all the bones is kind of annoying, and this just saves a lot of headache. You can add custom bones and whatnot to it, and my bird was ready to go. And he could move, he could look, and most importantly, he could dance. And oh, how he did just that. Ooh. Okay, so we've got a bird, and it took a lot longer this morning than I expected, but now he's rigged, modeled, animated. Now it just needs to be textured, and I'm gonna move on to the player character next, but right now it's 12 o'clock, and it's time for me to eat some lunch. Like the 4-year-old that I am, I decided to eat tater tots, chicken nuggets, and a fruit smoothie. Yum. While the food was cooking, I mixed up the smoothie, played with my food, and then I ate. Okay, so I am back at my computer, and I'm going to either texture this bird or model the player character. One of those, maybe both, if I have time. And if I get the player character, then that'll be a good step, because that's a huge part of the game, is playing as a character. Yeah, see you in a bit. Let's get to work on this. This is going to be an extremely low detail character when it comes to the base shapes. It's really going to be in the texture work where it shines. So I really just had to block out the main shape of the character using B spheres, which is another add-on from the Blender Marketplace. I love the Blender Marketplace, but my wallet does not. These plugins are awesome. So then I just dropped some details on the face. I'm going for a kind of a cartoony style, something silly looking. As always, Oddworld is an inspiration. A little bit of Rick and Morty, I don't know, with that mouth shape. This is a character that is not a powerful character, and he's kind of a sad-looking character. Like, he doesn't look happy, and his world is kind of jacked up, so I wouldn't be happy either. So he's just chronically frowning. After I layered on some details, I went to the buttons for eyes, kind of like something you'd see in the movie Coraline, which is also another Tim Burton film. So I guess I'm just making a Tim Burton game. I love the style of Tim Burton's work, and I had to add some strings in between the eyes, connecting those, getting them to look good, and then, just
repeat the process after that. Then I made a feather for the bird because texturing was next, and I textured the bird first. And since the feathers on the back are all repetitive, just use one texture. Next, I dropped into Substance Painter, and I painted up the bird. The bird was animated, and he was in Unreal, and I was really happy with how he looked. Next, I wanted to bring the character in, just kind of see how he looked in motion. With the Unreal animations, he looked a little strange. And then I went on to texture him. This is always a fun part when the characters come together. I had to really work hard to find a good texture for the fabric material. But once it all got locked in, he just really kind of pops. He looks almost like a villain character. But in-game, he looks pretty cool, and he's got his own custom animations made from scratch. They're not the best, but they're not the worst, I don't think. Okay, so I am going to take a break. I have been working on this all day since like 8:30. I stopped for lunch, and that's it. I've got the character modeled, animated, and textured, all that fun stuff. Got the bird looking cool. Next is gameplay, and I think I'm going to go a more passive route. So I want it to be puzzle-based gameplay, and that's how you'll defeat the enemies. I was going to do hack and slash, but that's I've done that before, so I'm gonna try something different. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Oh, before I forget, you need to hit like, subscribe. I apologize if the audio quality on this video is really janky. I'm trying something different, and yeah, see you later.